Thanks, DB. Thanks for being here. Yeah, we're going to separate this a little bit like we did last week at our first presser relative to the signing day week. I'm going to address recruiting first, and then we'll certainly have time to talk about our opponent tomorrow night, Detroit, who we have great respect for, be preparing for today, and started yesterday. Obviously to finish up the signing week with Jeremiah's official signature, here in the last 24 hours was big for us. I certainly referenced the other three recruits, Trent, Javon, and DeMonte, last week. I talked a lot about them and what they mean to our program and what their families mean. So we did that last week. If you have any questions regarding those three, please feel free to ask at the end. But being that we addressed those, I'm going to be specific with Jeremiah. Obviously exciting. We talked last week. I think, Jeremy, you were one of the guys that asked a question about front court. When you lose Thorne and Morgan, I think the obvious question is, what direction are we headed with our front court? Obviously, that helps answer that in a big way, although we're certainly not done. We feel like we need even more up front with the two remaining scholarships. Do we fill both of them? Do we fill, one of the two? It kind of remains to be seen. We're actively recruiting other players at this time. But to finish up the early signing period with all four of those guys and Jeremiah today is big for us. And Jeremiah and his family certainly, as I talked about the guys last week and their families, mean an awful lot to us. And, loyalty that certainly he showed today and that we have in turn. I think he and his family would tell you they feel very strongly about our loyalty towards them as well. Speaks volumes. I'm excited about bringing him into the program, not only because of the player that he is and the strengths that he provides as a front court player, but also the type of person he is. His love for Illinois, I think, became even ringing more and more true here over the last week in some of the conversations that I had with him. He loves this place. He's excited to be a Fighting Illini officially, although it feels like he has been for really some time. The recruitment of him has been ongoing, for years, and it's neat to see the recruitment process anyway, kind of capped off today with his press conference that he had at 1 o'clock. Questions?
John, can you just take me in when you got that fax in, what you were feeling, how this one felt? Yeah, well, obviously excited when he sent it in. There was a lot, obviously, conversations that we'd had over the last week or so, and like I said, it became very evident to me how committed he was to our staff, to this school. State school meant something to him, and to get the facts, kind of stamping that officially, Jeremy, obviously was exciting news for all of us.
John, it was a little unusual when he didn't sign at the start of the period. Were you nervous? Were you worried? Could you just talk about the feelings you were?
I would say I was concerned up until I talked to him. And then once I talked to him, I understood, some of the things, obviously a lot of the things that he and I have talked about over years are between me and him. Some of them are personal in nature, and he was going through some things. And, I always tell the players, obviously, basketball is very, very important to us. It's very important to me. I love the game. I love coaching our guys. But there are some things in life that take precedent. And once he and I had a chance to kind of talk about those things, his family as well, and then piggybacking that was, hey, Coach, I'm an Illini. I'm an Illini. I want to go to Illinois. I'm not going anyplace else. Once he echoed that, Tup, then I wasn't nearly as concerned. It became a matter at that point of trying to make sure over the course of this week that just took place that it made sense for both him and us, and obviously it did.
Coaches, has he been practicing with the team, and will he play against Central again? I think they got a game coming up in Springfield in a week or so.
Yeah, I think that's the plan, Lauren. Obviously, we're keeping tabs on his shoulder. They're echoing what's going on with that in terms of rehab, treatment. He has been practicing here over the last week, and I think he fully anticipates being available for the opener. I know he's excited about that. At this point, obviously, we've got we want to make sure that everything's good with him health-wise. But so does Phil, and so does East St. Louis, and they do a great job of taking care of him. So they wouldn't put him out there if he wasn't ready to go. My understanding is that he's going to be ready to go on opening night as of today.
That is their opener with Champaign Central?
Their opener with Central. I don't have their schedule in front of me. I know they plan really, really early, and it's right after Thanksgiving. That week, this upcoming week, is when they get this thing rolling full go.
John, obviously there's a lot of high-profile recruitments now. This is the biggest one that you've had. So obviously he's a great player, but what does that mean for your program when you land somebody that of this caliber?
Well, it's big just because, obviously, again, Jeremy, you were the guy that asked the question last week, with front court, with the guys graduating, what we needed to get done there. It's big from that standpoint. But I think more important than anything else, when I look at all 4 kids collectively, and certainly we're talking about him today, I just think they're great fits not only for what we needed basketball-wise with this class, with the opportunity that those guys saw losing 6 seniors, but I also like them a lot and their families as people. And I think from that standpoint, they're such a great fit, and that's what excites me probably more than anything else.
John, when you just talk about him as a player, what's the first thing that jumps out about him in terms of
size? Obviously, I mean he's got great size. He plays the game at both ends of the floor. He can affect the game at both ends of the floor. He's really competitive. He's got some toughness to him. He brings a physical disposition to the game. Very similar to how LaRon plays in that regard. He has good touch around the basket, and with his athleticism for his size. He's able to move very well, not only at the rim and near the basket, but also away from the basket. So, really talented. He's really hungry, and I'm anxious for him to get strength and conditioning training every day in college format. I think that's going to really help him, and I think as good as he is now, it's pretty good. I think he can be even better.
John, I know that Jeremiah has often said on many occasions that Illinois has been there right from the get-go. So that had to mean something when this recruitment, the decision became final today.
Oh, for sure. There's no question. It's something we talked about in great detail over the last week. There's a belief certainly that we have in him, at a very high level, and he believes in us. That's pretty neat. That's how it should be. Obviously, when you build a relationship with a person or persons over the period of time that we have with Jeremiah and his family, trust starts to, evolve and become very prominent. And certainly, that was something we talked a great deal about over the last week or so. And, I know he feels that, and we certainly do.
Are you allowed to say how many trips you've made down there in the last week or two?
I thought you were going to say over years. Whatever's been allowable, the max number that we keep over the years, and we've made sure that we've maxed all those out. And obviously, the number of times that he's been to campus, and he loves being on the campus. He loves being in Champaign. He loves being here for he's been here for basketball games or football games or unofficial visits or official visit that he took, and he's excited to walk on this campus and be a part of our team and what we're doing and what we're building.
John, you have 3 kids from what we call downstate Illinois. Everyone always talks about Chicago, but that area doesn't always produce so much talent. I mean, it's kind of a rarity. What'd you make of that? And
yeah, we knew obviously this class was a little bit rare with that. When you look at the previous years combined in terms of what was, players that have played at certain levels south of I-80, there wasn't as many, and sometimes it's cyclical. And this time it happened to be you hit that cycle where in this class of 2017 there was certainly a handful, and obviously we feel blessed that we were able to take advantage of that. The neat thing for all 3 of those kids is it means something for them to play here and put that jersey on, as it should if you're from our state. And there's no question it does to all 3 of those kids, and obviously Jeremiah.
John, once you sign these guys, I know you follow them really closely as they start their senior seasons. What was your reaction to Trent's beginning to his
Yeah, it's
season?
40-something. His dad sent me the text with the tip in and the game winner, and he and I went back and forth. So that was exciting to see. They won on opening night. He tipped the ball in to win the game and finished with 42. So he can put the ball in the hole. Obviously, we talked about that last week, and he has a knack for getting in the paint and making other guys better as well. Tough and just, I think certainly with, we talked about Tracy and Jay Tate and Malcolm doing a lot of our primary ball handling now. We just felt like it was important to continue to develop that ball handling through that next class. We were able to do that, with Trent and with DeMonte.
When you get a guy like Jeremiah, people have him 5-star, whatever. But is it easier to get more? I mean, during your time at Ohio State, does one signing help influence others? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it certainly helps. I'm really blessed. I have a great staff. Those guys work really hard. I mean, every year we're involved with really good players. We've had some great classes, obviously per the rankings, and certainly not to say that rankings don't mean anything, Jeremy, but I don't know if they mean everything. We've all watched over the years guys that are not on the radar emerge. You look at the NBA now with Steph Curry from Davidson, Klay Thompson from Washington State. There's others, that maybe weren't top 100 or top 50 or top 25 guys. And, I try to tell our staff, let's do the evaluation ourselves. We certainly use some of those services to find names and track kids and results and to help us get some idea of maybe who to go out to see initially. But at that point, let's make up our mind ourselves as objectively as we can, whether or not we think they're an Illini fit or not, both as a person, or really three parts, person, student, player. So in this case, we think all four are, and we're confident about that, and excited to welcome them officially to our family.
Have you seen anything from freshmen, big men in the Big Ten? There's been some good ones that you can take or learn. I know you've been around a pretty good one as well.
I've been fortunate to be around a lot of good ones. The biggest thing, I just want him to be Jeremiah Tilmon. I know the natural thing for a lot of people is to compare players to other players, or who does he play like. I try to, although there may be similarities certainly with certain guys, I really try to stay away from that because I want him to be the best Jeremiah Tilmon that God intended him to be, as a person, as a student, and as an athlete. And, obviously we feel great burden and responsibility to put him in situations environmentally where he has a chance to grow and become that. Not just him, but all the guys on our team. 3 guys that signed last week and all the guys that are on our team now. For me, it's about growth. Are they getting better? Am I seeing improvement as people, as students, as players? That's something that, is not a cliche for us. It's not coach speak. It's really, really important. We take it to heart, and I've got a great staff, great support staff that surrounds these guys and works diligently every day to get them outside their comfort zone. Because if you don't get them outside their comfort zone, they can't grow. And my hope is when they finish here, they're prepared for life and ball.
When you had your first recruiting class, this group made note that it was kind of like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by position, starting with Tate, ending with Morgan. You might be able to say the same thing about this class, except that you're missing either a 4 or a 5. Would you be looking more for a 4 or a 5?
No question, Rob. As I mentioned earlier, I think, obviously Black, Finke, Tilmon, we've got some guys up there that are, I think, going to be really good. But we need more. We're going to focus in on that. We're recruiting wings as well. And so we'll take a look at it and see if we can continue to, find the right people and enhance our program and enhance our team and make sure that we've got the right team composition with who we add. Those are all things that we're talking about as a staff quite regularly, as you would imagine. So, but there's no question, we would. We're continuing to recruit front court players in that class.
I fail to intone properly. What I mean is that some of your front court guys don't really differentiate between the positions, and JCL says guard is guard. So does it matter to you whether you get a 4 or a 5 to complement Jeremiah?
Yeah, the way that we play, Rob, and I think the game's kind of going this direction too. I really do. And I can see why JCL would say guards, because you watch us play. I mean, obviously Tilmon, Tate, Abrams, Hill, J. Cole, DJ, AJ, different times will lead the break. Those guys got to be basketball players. I think the game is certainly, the trajectory of the game is heading in that direction. And then when you look at front court, obviously the center position is not easy, at times to get, but versatility up there is important. A lot of our guys that are up front right now play both spots and have the ability to play both spots based on what we need as a team. So really, for me, it's more about finding a front court player. The more versatility, the better. If they can play both positions, that's awesome. Eventually for us, as you know, and I've stated many times, by the time a guy gets to his second year at Illinois, all those guys are learning 2 or more positions anyway, which makes us a lot more versatile and makes us, I think, a better team, gives us a lot of different looks, and allows us to adapt night in, night out better.
With such a strong class coming in, they'll be freshmen next year. Would you want fans to temper expectations because, hey, they'll be freshmen next year, or should they get excited, hey, all 4 of these guys are going to see major minutes, they're going to be on the floor next year and taking this to the next level, or however you want to characterize it?
Well, I always want our fans to be excited. They should be. I like the team I'm coaching right now. I think they're, we're getting better every day. Guys are coming, got LaRon back Monday. Guys are getting healthier. We want them to be excited again for next year. For me, obviously this is a huge deal anytime we add any person to our family, because it's about people. We have the right people in our program. But right now, as crazy as it sounds, I'm focused on that, but I'm also focused on today's practice. We play tomorrow, so we've got to make sure that we're ready to go tomorrow. And I hope our fans get a lot of excitement out of this year's team, as well as next year's team, and what we're building moving forward.
Why don't we go ahead and transition this time to anybody have questions about tomorrow's game, Detroit? If not, why don't you start with?
Yeah, I can give you, obviously the biggest thing with Detroit that concerns me, and it reminds me a little bit of opening night, is when I watch them, they really pressure the basketball, they deny passing lanes, they pick up full court, they trap you at full court in the back court, they trap you in the front court. They're very, very disruptive. So taking care of the basketball is really, really important tomorrow night. Our guys know that. That's a big part of the game plan and a big part of each night that we play. We want to have that staple that we've always had, that we're a team that takes care of the ball. We know we struggled with that a little bit early here lately. We've been terrific, really with single-digit turnovers now in back-to-back games, and our guys are really buying into that, and I think it's made us a better team. Defensively, guarding the basketball is really important. They have guards that make plays off the bounce and off the dribble, and in pick-and-roll situations as well. I didn't think, one of the things that I thought we struggled in the McKendree game was to guard pick and rolls at the level we want to guard them. And we're going to see a lot of them tomorrow night. So, we're going to work that. We talked about it yesterday, and today we're going to get a chance to work that in practice and hope to get better in that area as well. They're very athletic, and I have a great deal of respect for Bakari. He's a first-year head coach, was at Michigan, and I've gotten to know him over the years, and I know his team will be ready to play. Questions on Detroit?
How big of a relief is it to not be competing against Bakari for Big Ten recruits?
I don't know about that. We love competition, period. For us right now, the next game on our schedule happens to be Detroit. But I'm expecting practice today based on 2 or 3 things that I challenged them with yesterday to be super competitive, and guys locked in today. We talked a lot about having great mental energy, the ability to concentrate and limit distractions, as well as having great physical energy. And, here in just a few minutes, we're going to be on court, and I expect that today, and then we got to expect that again tomorrow. So we're not looking much beyond that, but, we love competing. We love to compete. I want to coach guys who love to compete.
John, you said Jalen's playing the best ball he's played. I think he leads you in plus-minus right now.
Sure.
What is he doing that's the best that you've seen?
I think a couple things. Number one, I think he's playing with an edge to him. He's got that senior deal where, it's important to him. Winning's important to him. Being detailed, and his attention to detail is better. His communication has always been a strength, Jeremy. I think it's through the roof right now. And to be quite honest with you, he kind of knows who he is, plays to his strengths. You know what you're getting. And as a coach, that's very, very comforting. to know that. That's how trust is developed. And, I think he's really bought into the we, not that he hadn't before, but at an even higher level now than the me. It's clearly about the team with him and putting his teammates in position to be successful. So, I think that mindset more than anything else is probably allowing him to play about as good as he's played since he's been here. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Should I? Questions on the phone lines? No, I don't. Go ahead, Shannon.
For other kind of big targets, big names recruits, there's a ripple effect. Do you believe Tilmon can be a guy to have that kind of ripple effect when it comes to recruiting?
Yeah, I think this class can be. Obviously, I think it gets a lot of people's attention, and the kids' abilities and who they are as people are the reason for that. So, yeah, sure. Success can breed success, and we're aware of that. We also know that it just doesn't happen. You have to really work at it. I got a great staff, great support staff. We work at it every year, and those guys have put us in position where we've been able to, be very blessed and have great classes and, players coming through here that we think we feel very, very comfortable with. Obviously, a big key for us more than anything, Shannon, has been keeping them healthy. As long as we're healthy and the Lord blesses us with that, and this class comes in, can we continue to piggyback that? That's certainly the plan.
And you said you were concerned until you talked to him. How soon after did you get a chance to talk to him after you decided to hold off on signing for a while?
I don't remember the exact time, Shannon, but it was within a few hours. I don't remember the exact first time I spoke with them, and then obviously I had a chance to meet with them face to face even after that, and then we had a chance to sit down. I really enjoyed that, and we had good dialogue, good conversation, and obviously, as I said earlier, I believe in him. I know he believes in us, and he never deviated from that. So once I knew that, then certainly my concerns waned.
All right, thank you.
Sure. Anybody else on the phone lines? We appreciate everybody. Thanks.
Congratulations, John.
Thank you. Maybe I'll head down.
For anybody who needs players, I originally estimated 5:30. It'll be 6.